We start all right. I guess we're back live now. It's a no internet connection for me, but anyways, welcome back to episode number 61 of Raise the Banner podcast. Co-host as usual, Mac Tour, here with Zach Brewitt and Benny Ballgame Dearth. And today we got special guest Mikey Romero, Red Sox prospect, 2022 first round pick out of California. What town was it again? Menifee?
Yeah, I'm from Menifee.
Menifee. All right. So basically, we'll start us up. I want to kind of start right from that time of your life. What was it like? I don't think any me, Ben, or Zach have this experience for sure, but being a 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid that's getting recruited D1 and then you getting talked with MLB teams. How was that like for you?
Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. Just being able to, be, given the ability to have the talent to be talking to, first off, D1 programs, and then, ultimately get drafted and talk to pro teams. It was pretty cool. It was a great experience. The talks with colleges started pretty early for me. I actually committed to University of Arizona my freshman year. And then once Jay Johnson left Arizona, I went and switched with him to LSU, and me and him had a great relationship. It was good. I committed super early. I didn't really honestly talk to a lot of colleges just because of how young I committed to Arizona. So that was kind of like my first in talking to. And then, yeah, as far as the draft stuff, like once I got to like my junior, senior year, it was good. I had good practice. I played with Marcelo, which obviously you guys know, year prior. So I kind of went through just like what it was like with him, so that when it came to my year, I was prepared and had a lot of good conversations and good connections with guys within the industry, and obviously as well with the Red Sox.
Fair enough. Ben, you want to go? You're muted, brother.
Sterling start.
There you
Sorry.
go.
I think
We're off to a hot start tonight.
Yeah. I think I came unplugged. Whatever. I know there's a little bit of an age gap between you guys, but what was it like being in a house? Obviously, your sisters were, elite college softball players. Obviously there's an age gap there, but what was it like, growing up in a house of athletes? How much like of a rivalry was, or still remains, obviously now that you're in pro ball.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty cool. Like the rivalry is for sure still there. It's I wouldn't call it rivalry actually. I'd say more like competitiveness. We just kind of all push each other to be great. And for those that don't know, my two older sisters play professional softball now. One played at University of Michigan, the other played at Oklahoma. And then I have a little sister right now, and she's at Boise State on a scholarship for softball. So baseball and softball kind of just runs through the family.
Nice.
Good genes.
But yeah. But the household is super competitive. It's a good time. We just love talking smack to each other. When we were living at our old house, we had a cage there, and we would love to get in the cage and get working together. But yeah, so like my little sister and I, we're a lot closer in age, so we have a different relationship than obviously my two older sisters who are closer than age. But we all just get along so well, and we're all super competitive together. And my parents raised us the right way, and we just love competing with one another and pushing each other to be great and supporting each other.
Yeah.
What's
Thanks.
it like to be the only boy among three sisters?
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I honestly feel like I have like three brothers sometimes, just because they're kind of they're kind of tough. They're tough on me. Honestly, I would take a couple of my sisters, or I would take all my sisters in fights over a lot of people that are like my friends that I know. So like they're pretty badass in my opinion. So yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, and Mike, like baseball seems to obviously be like your first love. Obviously pretty good at it, right? Getting drafted. But were there any other sports you played in high school or maybe even before that you liked more, or maybe thought that would take you in a different path, or was it always baseball? And you kind of just knew from early on that baseball was going to be it.
I mean, I played flag football for like a year, and I was the quarterback, and I threw a duck fart, and I hung it up. I hung it up right away. Like I finished the season, and I was like, I'm never doing this again.
So that was it. Baseball all the time.
Yeah, and then I remember one year, I was probably like 10 or 11, and I mean, my parents were super hard on me, which obviously I loved, and they pushed me, and I wouldn't be here without them. But one time I like went up to my dad, and he was like, or I said to him, I was like, "Hey, I want to play basketball," and he was like, "No, like you're not playing basketball." Like, and I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I was like, "Damn, like it's like I gotta lock in on baseball, I guess." Like,
Yeah,
all
good
right,
baseball
whatever.
it is.
Hey, he knew the right path for you, I guess.
Yeah, he was bought in 100%. You know.
I did the same growing up. I played hockey, and I was actually pretty good at it. And I switched to basketball in like 6th grade, and I kind of wish my parents were like, "Hey, you're going to be like a 5'10" white guy that can't jump. Like maybe we should stick with hockey and not switch to a sport where you need some height to play." In terms of the recruitment, obviously, how early did the Red Sox reach out to you in the whole recruiting process out of high school? Obviously, I know Heim Bloom was the chief baseball officer at the time. Did you have direct conversations with him during that process? And did you expect yourself to get drafted by Boston in the first round?
Yeah. So I would say like small little conversations kind of started when it was Marcelo's draft year, just because like those guys were always around, and not even just the Red Sox, just like kind of within the industry, like. That's kind of that. Like I was blessed in that way, that I had a guy like Marcelo Meyer around me, that caliber of a player. Just because like I got looks early on before my draft year, and that's kind of how those connections have started. And then once it kind of rolled around to my year, that's when it really started picking up. And yeah, I think early on, like I had a kind of good sense of where I might go, where what teams like me more. And then it wasn't really until after my high school season where I was like, all right, like here's these handful of teams that like I really think might pick me, and Red Sox were among them. And I had a great
What were the other
connection.
teams, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was like the Dodgers, like the A's. There was a couple other, but yeah. I mean, I think I had the best connection and the best kind of conversations with the Red Sox, just because like we already had that previous kind of connection via Marcelo. So like I knew all their guys. Like Paul Taboni. He's not the scouting director anymore, but I had a great connection with him. Devin Pearson, assistant scouting director. The old minor league strength and conditioning coordinator, his name's Kirby. I'm blanking on his last name right now, but great connection with him. Jeff Dolan, another strength and conditioning guy, and then just kind of their whole scouting department. I had a really good connection with them. And then I actually talked to Heim after I got drafted. My main point of connection was through Paul Taboni, scouting director, and assistant scouting director Devin Pearson.
Cool.
Nice. So just to kind of piggyback off of that, was there ever a thought in your mind that you would honor your commitment to LSU, or was it if I get drafted, like that's it, I'm going pro?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I do not like school whatsoever. Like, I'm a baseball dude. Like playing at LSU would have been great. Alex Box Stadium, like great atmosphere. Like, there's a legacy, at that school. I have friends that are still there right now, and I have friends that continue to commit there and are currently playing. So, like I know it's a great school. Jay's, obviously one of the top coaches in college baseball, but I just knew that, my dream was to be a professional baseball player, and I want to get to the show as quick as I can. So, just being 18 and signing and getting a head start, on my kind of journey, that's kind of where my mind was set, and I kind of knew that early on.
Nice. So I'll take the next one too. I feel like I kind of stole a little bit of Matt's thunder with that one, but early on in your professional career, I guess we were just curious about like like the rehab process. There was a back injury, and just curious, like kind of what goes on, sort of behind the scenes, and obviously it's you know, it's frustrating to have to sit through a rehab process, and you know, obviously you want to get back on the field, you know, as quickly and efficiently as possible. You know, just like what that process was like, and then obviously, you know, how was it emotionally handling, you know, setbacks and missing more time than you probably you know, had hoped.
Yeah. I mean, just like to answer the first part, like the rehab process was, you know, it had its ups and downs. Like it's kind of, I think, how every rehab process goes, whether it's a pitcher doing TJ or, you know, a hitter having a back problem. It was, you know, it was a grind mentally and physically, just to kind of get back into a position to be able to play again. 2023 was obviously, you know, a tough season just because, you know, I rehabbed basically the whole year. I came back, played like 34 games, and then I stress fractured my back again. You know, like
Yeah.
initially it was a stress reaction, came back, and then I got the stress fracture. So it was kind of just like a punch in the gut. But, you know, I've always, you know, heard the saying, you know, this game will humble you. You know, you kind of gotta put your work in. And, you know, the game doesn't owe you anything. So I just kind of, you know, put my head down, get back to work. And there was a lot of good, you know, that came out of the 23 year for me. I got to work with, you know, Trevor Story, and just learn from him. And he kind of mentored me a little bit while he was down, rehabbing his stuff. And then just, you know, getting to know a lot more guys in our organization who are also rehabbing, you know, that are also like, that are just now, you know, some of my really good friends. And then, you know, I think just, you know, mentally, you know, I grew a lot, you know, in my faith, you know, with the Lord, and then just kind of everything else that, you know, every other blessing in disguise, you know, I got engaged recently, just married my now wife. So
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, there was kind of a lot that unfolded in 23. It kind of felt like, you know, you hear Duran talk about kind of the mental side of the game a lot, you know, the mental health struggles, you know, like, and that stuff's real, you know, it's hard. This game's hard. This game will humble you, but, you know, you kind of just gotta, you know, the game doesn't owe you anything. And, you know, you gotta kind of just, you know, excuse my language, but like pick your shit up and, you know,
Yeah.
move on. Like, you know, it's like, let's go. Like, you know, kind of bring it on type mentality. And that's kind of just how I live, you know, like bring it on and, you know, try and remain humble and, you know, just do what I can to stay on the field and stay healthy.
Cool.
Awesome. Do you think that was it, or like I know we enjoyed like a kind of a breakout second half of 2024 was just kind of getting back healthy, was kind of getting your mind right. Do you think that was kind of the major contributor, or was it something else that just kind of clicked where you just started hitting well and kind of, you know, hitting your stride?
Yeah, I mean, I think just obviously, you know, getting back on the field, that was the main thing, you know, getting back on the field and feeling like, you know, I could play the game again without any pain or without any discomfort, you know, just feeling like, you know, I could go out there and play. You know, baseball's a long season. You know, at some point you're going to feel some sort of ache or some sort of pain. And, you know, like that's kind of how it is. You know, those guys at the big league level, like I'm sure, like Duran, he was on pace for 162 and, you know, obviously, you know, had some stuff happen, but like he couldn't play 162. But I mean, his body was, I'm sure, tired. But yeah, I think just kind of getting, sorry, I just totally blanked on what your question was. Can you tell me again?
All good. It was basically answered. It was more so like, was there anything that just like kind of clicked that led to
Yeah.
your
Okay.
second half breakout?
Yeah.
But
So it was just playing
Yeah.
games, getting at bats. That was the biggest thing, getting comfortable again. And then, you know, just really buying into what it was I was trying to do at the plate. Um, that's kind of what I think just, you know, made it click, getting comfortable again, getting at bats.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah. You know, you obviously see the talk of like the Red Sox, you know, big three, whether it's, you know, Marcelo, Christian Campbell, Roman Anthony, all those guys. Do you ever feel like you know, you deserve to be in those discussions? And how do you view, you know, working your way up? Obviously, they're a little bit ahead of you in the minor league system. How do you approach that where you want to obviously get into those conversations and working your way through the system?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, like those guys are in those positions for a reason. Like they've put themselves in those positions because they've worked hard and they've put in the time and they've had great seasons. So like I think that's just motivation for me to have a great season and put in the time and effort and work, you know. Um But like at the end of the day, like my motivation isn't to, be part of the big three. It's to, get to Boston and play on the big league team, like, so at the end of the day, whether I'm in the big three or I'm not in the big three, like it kind of is what it is, you just gotta pick up your shit, like I said earlier, and move forward.
We'll get back
So
to Kyle got traded, obviously, so maybe we'll get back
yeah.
to a big four by the end of the season. We'll have you in there.
Yeah, no, that'd be
I'll
pretty
start
cool.
I'll start the narrative now and get it going for
Yeah,
the season.
yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, it's cool because like all that stuff, is very like media related. But like you meet Roman, you meet KC, you meet Cello, like none of those guys are like only sticking to hanging out with them three. Like all those guys
Yeah.
kick it with everyone. Like they're great dudes, great teammates. So like I said earlier, like everything that kind of like all the spotlight that they have gotten is deserved, and they've worked their ass off to get there. So like yeah, it's motivating for sure, but at the same time, like they've worked their tail off, and I'm looking forward to doing the same.
Awesome.
Nice. So to kind of like piggyback off of that, it seems like you're pretty healthy. Obviously, you had the the end of 2024 was pretty good. Do you feel like, based on your experiences, whether it's mental or physical, do you feel like you're preparing anything different, or was there anything specific that you've picked up on that you learned in the early stages of being in pro ball in the system, that either you wanted to harp on, build on, or something that you didn't feel was great, but like how do you feel about your preparation for 2025?
Yeah, I think the big focus is obviously just going into spring training healthy and having a normal spring training. This will be basically my first spring training of being able to get work in and get my at bats before I head out in April. So like that's the big thing. And then going into the off season, the biggest thing for me, I'd say the two biggest things, one on offense, one on defense, was um, just trying to make the ratio of my base on ball to strikeout a lot closer. Just so that obviously, I get on base more and strike out less, make it, as close to even as I can, and possibly even walk more than I strike out. But so that was kind of a big focus. And, some ways I'm doing that is just really buying into what I'm trying to do in the cage. If I'm looking a certain zone, I'm going to only swing at that pitch, and I'm going to try and take the stuff that's not that pitch. And then on the defensive side, I think just range, just being able to get to balls that before I wouldn't be able to get to, and just continuing to convert outs, be a reliable defender. That's kind of the stuff that I want to go into 2025 with. It's just be reliable. I want to be at the big league level, and those guys are reliable. They make the plays, so that's what I'm trying to do.
All right, and then just like a sub question to that, something I thought of. Growing up and playing in the, call it the StatCast era, where there's just an evolution of technology, and just ever evolving ways of training and preparation. Do you find that it's hard because of all the things that are available to you, is it hard to pinpoint things that really work well for you, or have you kind of like found a routine that, despite new tech, new stats, new things that the training staff and the front office guys, the advanced metric guys are like, hey, like we should really focus on WRC plus or OPS, like, have you figured out like a routine, or is it kind of hard to figure out what exactly is best fit for you given all the changes that are kind of thrown at you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I kind of have like a love-hate relationship with like the way that the game's kind of going. Like I kind of grew up, being old school. Like I had coaches that, would get into me and, kind of let me know if, I was playing bad, cuss, make me run, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I grew up. So like I kind of still take that same mentality to the yard every day. But like with the added just kind of numbers and metrics that you're talking about, like before this year, like I didn't know how to read like the iPad with the pictures like vert and ride and run, so like I think that for preparation, just knowing that stuff before the game is so big, because like you see a guy has ride and run, like exactly how much ride and how much run he has. Like that's pretty important to know as a hitter, instead of just getting in there your first at bat and kind of just feeling it out and possibly, just giving up your first at bat when you could go into that prepared. So I definitely think there's like some really good with the numbers. I think you kind of have to have feel. I think each player is different. Like some guys tune it all out, some guys are all in on it. I'd find myself more in the middle of like wanting some numbers, but also being like, all right, like just let me go play the game. Like I don't need to hear about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go play. Like if I go 4 for 4 and get 4 duck fart hits, like I'm gonna be pretty happy. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's easier to love the hit than it is to hit it, 104 on the screws, but right at somebody. It's like,
yeah.
well, yeah, I hit it hard, but I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, which actually, like, and that's one thing I like too is like in our organization we do like a lot of like expected stats, so like just you do hit one hard and like you get rewarded within our organization. Obviously,
Yeah.
not within like kind of your stats that are shown on the scoreboard, but like that's one reason why I like it.
Yeah.
Zach, not to cut you off, it kind of brought me up into a question. Have you noticed, what was the changes? Obviously, Craig Breslow came in and he's obviously a big pitching guy, but did you experience kind of a big shift or anything like that in the minor league system in terms of how they develop you guys, in terms of changing what they focus on, stuff like that? Or has it kind of been the same thing going from each guy?
So my first year, we didn't really do a whole lot of driveline stuff. And then these past 2 years, my second year was when we really started doing driveline. And then this past year, this is my third year. So last year, driveline was when it like really started getting implemented. And then this year is obviously same thing, driveline. So the training has changed like a little bit over the 3 years I've been in pro ball. But yeah, like it's a lot of like kind of driveline based stuff, like bat speed stuff, which is obviously good. It has its place kind of within whatever you're trying to do. But I think obviously too much of bat speed can be detrimental. Too much of something, can obviously be bad, whatever that is. I think finding a good balance is, good.
Awesome.
I'll give you a bit of a break on the baseball questions here, but what would you say, if you have one, it's kind of like your favorite sort of maybe genre of music, artist of music? That could be anything from getting yourself hyped up to go to the game, ballpark, whatever, or just relaxing in your room. I guess homework isn't really a thing anymore, but just kind of whatever you're doing besides baseball, just getting your mind off things.
Yeah. Well, as far as music, it kind of depends. Like we have so many different characters, like just within the organization. I've been exposed to so much different music. Before coming into Pro Bowl, like I was a big like EDM and house music guy. Being from Cali, I feel like everyone from Cali is a EDM and house music guy. So
you experienced DJ Teal and DJ Kyle Teal, and you experienced DJ Kyle Teal and.
Yeah, he's really good. He's actually really good. We because I used to like dabble around in like making beats. Like I never worked on the actual turntables like he did, but I would like go on Ableton and like make beats on my computer. So that was pretty fun. So yeah, like EDM house, but like occasionally for whatever reason, whenever I listen to country music, like I start raking. So like if I listen to certain country songs, and I found this out in high school, like I would listen to country music on the way to the games, and then I'd go like 4 for 4, and I'm like, damn, like maybe I should continue to listen to this.
Yeah, right. Who knew it like this?
Yeah, right.
Get in the right headspace.
Yeah. So EDM country. I'm not too big on rap. Trying to think. A lot of the Latin music, that all of our Latin guys play, it's like a love-hate relationship. Sometimes we play it a lot, and sometimes it's like, all right, this song's pretty good, but yeah.
Awesome. So we do want to finish it up with a few kind of random questions. This one's more of a hypothetical fun one. How much would you have to be paid per week for 5 days a week, like a job, 16 hours a day to just sit in a room, pitch black, dead silent by yourself?
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking I have to do math right now. I haven't done math in forever.
It's not LSU math. This is a little easier.
Okay, 5 days a week, sit in a room for 16 hours.
16 hours a day, 5 days a week. you could hypothetically stop after like, you know, a year or something like that, but how much per week would it be for you to say, all right, you know, I'll sacrifice my life insanity to sit in a pitch black room by yourself?
A week. If I were to do it a week for a year, I'd probably do it for like $50K a week.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I need 50K every week.
When
so
I originally
by
found the
end of
question,
year.
I think it was 50, and then one said 70K a week. So 50K a week is, oh God, that would be so miserable though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I might have to increase that. Like, yeah, I don't know. That sounds terrible.
I think it's the pitch black part of it would be.
Yeah,
what's
you'd
even
go
worse.
insane before you'd make the end of the year.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound very fun.
So pro ball only, not high school.
Mhm.
Who would you say? I guess it's kind of a two-part question. Who's the best hitter you've ever seen, and who's the best pitcher you've ever faced?
Okay. Shoot. Best pitcher I've ever faced first. I'll do that one first.
Could also be like within the organization, like live ABs, like in the off season or in spring training.
Okay. So this one's gonna be kind of funny. So best pitcher. So there's this kid named Riley Frey. He's with the Braves in high A. He's a lefty, and he throws like 80 to like 84, but he throws it like Chris Sale. Bro, this dude carved me up every single time. I faced him like 5 times this year, and he carved me up every single time.
What's his name?
Riley Frey. He kind
Riley
of carved
Frey.
me up this year. Like honestly, like I didn't really have a lot of trouble like facing anyone else, at least this year. Like this was like my first year kind of obviously of playing, so I haven't really had crazy experience. But like that dude just carved me up for whatever reason every time he faced me.
Is it the arm angle, like coming across
I
like
don't
that?
know.
What Sale does?
For whatever reason, whenever I faced him, I just felt like I couldn't see the ball, and it was just him. I just was
That's
missing
weird.
it, and I was like, "What is going on right now?" But yeah, no, those days would be frustrating because I go back to the dugout and be like, "What just happened?" You know,
How do I not hit 81?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's really where he maxes out, like mid 80s?
Yeah, I think it was I think the hardest was like 85. Honestly, I something around there. I mean, he had a lot of pitches and he kind of just hit his spots. But yeah, I mean, that dude for whatever reason just carved me up this year. And that best hitter, I mean, I would say Roman, but I've only played with him like a little bit. But like someone who I've played with, probably Christian Campbell. Like that dude's a freak. Like I've seen him hit some balls. Like I was like, it's like, bro, how do you hit that? Like, because like early on in Greenville, as I was like easing back into playing, I was only on a 3-game-a-week schedule, so like I had the open side view like of him hitting when we were at home in Greenville. So like I'd be just sitting on the bench, eating seeds, like playing like password with some of the pitchers, and whenever this dude would come up to hit, I'd watch him hit, and like I remember it was against Rome, the Braves, and he like lunged for a ball, like threw his bat, and he hit it like 430 over the building. And I'm like, I was like, dude, like what? Like, how'd you do that? Like, I was actually just like, how did you do that? And it like actually like at the end of that series is when he got moved up to Portland, but it was funny. I mean, I've like just sometimes I don't get like just how he is able to do what he does. Like the way he moves is I feel like you don't see a lot of guys move like him, but like he swings the bat so fast and he hits everything so hard. So
we always talk about like we don't realize how big he really is.
Oh, he's huge.
Yeah. I forget. This was a couple weeks ago. We were talking. We had Jared Carabas on, and I was looking up how big he was because I'm thinking like, okay, like where does he fit in potentially to the big league roster full time? Right? Like there's questions of, outfield, infield, where, and then like watching him on TV, like he looks like he's like 6 feet tall.
Yeah, no, he's
But
a big dude.
But he's a big guy. You don't think of him being. I think he's like 6'3", 215, 220, something like that. He's in that range anyway, and we were all surprised because he doesn't play like a guy who's that big.
Yeah, I mean, I think the minor league jerseys kind of do him a disservice. Like I feel like everyone sometimes kind of swims in those jerseys. But like, I mean, I was with him, in Greenville, and like we'd be working out and be doing an arm farm, and I'm like, bro, like put me on your arm farm, bro, because he's got some pretty big arms. But yeah, no, he's a big dude. I've actually heard that a lot from people. They're like, oh, I wasn't expecting him to be that big, and I was like, yeah, I mean, he's a pretty big dude.
Maybe it's like, I don't know, your second baseman. You don't expect them to really be like as big as he is. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like he might be like one of those guys where it's like you guys see him in person to realize like how big he is.
Yeah.
All right, to finish this up, pretty easy question. If you weren't playing baseball, what do you think? What profession you would have probably went down if baseball didn't pan out for you?
Shoot. As I have you guys set up like on my gaming platform, I want to say professional gamer, but like that doesn't sound good. So I'd probably be like something to do with like kinesiology, like an athletic trainer, or not an athletic trainer. I'd say more like a gym coach, like a collegiate like strength conditioning coach or something.
I kind of didn't realize like you have gym teachers out in like high school and stuff like that, and then you get older and you're like, dude, being a gym teacher is like such a sweet gig.
It's the sweetest job of all time.
Yeah, at my high school too. My high school, Orange Lutheran, like it's such a sick weight room. Like it's probably better than a lot of like colleges. Some colleges, like it's a really cool weight room. And the strength guy there, his name's Bubba Reynolds. Like he has such a sweet job. Like he gets to like train all the sports teams, and then like he gets to be in that gym like all day. It's pretty cool. So
yeah,
it's a great name for a strength and conditioning coach.
All right, that'll wrap us up, Mikey. I appreciate you coming on. Obviously, good luck this season. You're starting in what, AA this year?
Yeah, AA.
That's the
Maybe
expectation.
AA. We'll see. I don't know.
Did you get a spring training invite?
No, I'll be probably. I think just minor league spring training.
Okay.
I think I'm sure they would have already went out by now, but yeah.
Okay. We'll have to get up to a game. Then it's Manchester AA.
Yeah, but that's not the Red Sox. Yes,
I know.
Portland's not far. Make the drive.
Yeah, it's not too far.
I mean, if you want to go to the Fisher Cats, their field's like 290 to right field. So
yeah, Portland's a cool city. I don't know how much.
Portland's a cool
city.
All right, we'll take a weekend. We'll go up to Portland and see a game this year. But all right, Mikey, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. We'll have to do this again sometime. But thanks for your time.